What's up, y'all? This is AD Walker, the pusher to grow the. What's up, y'all? This is AD Walker, the pusher to grow the motivator. Brothers Legacy will be starting in the next few minutes, as you can see by the timer. But I just wanted to thank you for watching and being a part of our growth and all the things that we are a part of. BOL is really making an impact in the community and the people around it. It's very encouraging to have the opportunity to meet people that have seen the program. Also, I want to encourage you to watch the other programs that I am a part of and BOL is connected to, like Sisters of Legacy, Purpose for Forever, Solomon's Temple, and the Brothers Who Talk. We are in the process of doing some big things coming in December, and I'm excited for the changes that are happening. So, two things I need you to do. First off, I know you're watching this, so make sure you share. This is an opportunity to share. Yes, we're not live yet, but this is your chance to share. Tag somebody, tag another brother, tag another sister that really needs to be a part of this community as we discuss the issues that we're facing as men, as Black men, and as leaders in our household. It is imperative that you are a part of this conversation, because through conversation, change happens. Also, and I've said this before, but we are in the process of growing and expanding. And with that, we're asking you to contribute into that growth. So you have an opportunity to go to Cash App, $BOL 2019. This gives you an opportunity to invest in Brothers of Legacy growth as we reach different states and reach out and connect with you straight away and help other men become better men. So even if you don't give one time, you can give. I'm pushing the dollar drive, just $1. You know, if you do it once a month, $1, it helps with our growth. Every little bit helps. So I'm encouraging you to when you have the opportunity, do it now, right before we start. You can give into the Brothers of Legacy. So stay tuned. Listen, we have an awesome show as we always do. I appreciate you taking this time, and time is running short. So I want you to be blessed, keep pushing, keep growing, and enjoy the show. Bam! What's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. So
and if you see me, you know it's either a Monday or a Thursday.
or Thursday, right? Oh man! All right, I was bringing it on. So I was just, hey, good morning. I want to say good morning to my peeps.
Hey, Deb.
Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Cheryl. Lord Jesus. Good morning, sports car lady. I'm on McCory in the building. Lisa in the building. Great morning to everybody. We are another edition of Brothers of Legacy. This is a special edition. I guess we'll be not really how I like to run into them, but based on a very heated, very high spirited. That's the word. There you go, spirited conversation. So we're gonna dig into women in leadership.
Lady.
Good evening, ladies. We're gonna dig into a spirited conversation about women in leadership. Based on the conversation that started yesterday, just kind of wanted to kind of give a whole hour to, where we, the thing about Brother Legacy, what I always say, we're not just about hot topics and trying to push buttons and the wow factor, but we want to have conversations that move, conversations that change things, and help people to become better. So that's the focus here. Of course, there are times that you got to agree to disagree, because no one's moving. So we have a special guest. If you don't know, in the building, the founder of Sisters of Legacy is in the building. Samantha Walker. Let's give a good round. Virtual. You got that? Oh! All right. Yes, indeed. The pastors in the building.
I started himself. What's up, buddy?
All right.
Hey. Yeah, you see it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. To all my podcast people, we have Samantha.
Hey, Samantha.
Building. My lady, my boo thing, the one that's in the comments in the morning. Pastor Brian Corey at the bottom, and Terry to the diagonal. Yes, indeed. So this is going to be an amazing conversation. Pastor Samantha.
Morning, Terry. Morning,
Cole.
I'm gonna
everybody.
I'm gonna hug my mic. This is gonna be a good one.
All right.
Cut my pearls. You know, when cut our pearls, I'm gonna cut my mic real quick.
All right. Just so if you hadn't had the opportunity to, what's up, Elder McNair in the building? Great morning to you. I'm glad you're here, my brother. I'm glad you're here. This is going to be good. All right. So if you didn't have the opportunity to watch Brothers of Legacy yesterday, we were talking about kind of moving forward, what the country looks like, and things of that nature. And then we were getting into, presidents and Kamala Harris and the health of Joe Biden and things of that nature. Yes, and my brother
Pastor pulled one of these.
Hold on. I got it right here. Hold on 1 second.
So let me tick off all the women real quick. I do not want to wake up to a female president.
So that's what we're starting off today.
Yeah, he pulled the pin. I was at work.
Hang tight. Hold on. We'll be right back. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another edition. Good morning. Everybody.
It's hot.
He pulled the pin and let it go. He was like, all right.
He said the look on Sam's face. All right.
I pulled the pin, let it go, and walked away. Hey, lovely.
Lady McCory in the building. All right. So we're talking about women and leadership. Specifically, we started, like I said, the conversation started off as a woman becoming president. And as you saw, quoted exactly what Pastor said. So we're not reiterating, we're not saying something that is out of, he said out of his mouth, and
yeah, he did.
Yeah, make sure you emphasize it. He said it. He said it. It was him. It was Pastor. It was not us.
Because I'm gonna give my point from that perspective, like as a president, because we more context. We had more context. We had a conversation after, of course, the broadcast, and there was that conversation was totally different. Trust me.
Stay in here with that.
Yeah. He said, "Lord, let me get out of here." No, stay in here.
No, bring him on. What is female link at? Go say them.
We good. Oh, all right. What's up, Rich? So like I said, we talked afterwards, and and like I started off saying, when it comes to Brother Legacy, it's about conversations that move, conversations that shift, conversations that change. Hopefully, even if we get to the point of agreeing to disagree, these conversations are helpful because sometimes, men have their conversation in the corner and women have their conversation in the corner. And then we have our fights in between, but we never have a conversation.
Right.
Not enough. And see, I wish I was a fly on the wall. No, actually, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
Glaze over the fact that he used the word drat.
Right. Right.
I love it. That's why you're my dude.
So with that being said, we spoke about, leadership as the White House and comparison to like leadership in the household, and I kind of seen them as different. One is a job, one is leadership in the household. So let's start off. Let's kick it off. Sam, how do you feel about a woman being president?
Into that bus.
And as far as the comparison between, well, go ahead. How do you feel about the woman being president? I'm trying to formulate the words properly.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
I like.
Look, you know what? See, that's love. You know what?
Got an agreement.
Okay,
my brother.
Okay,
my brother. Talk, sir. We need McNair on the call.
That's what happens. Yes, indeed. All right, Sam, you got the stage.
Yep.
You sure I can talk, Pastor? I want to make sure I get permission.
Ooh, go ahead. Solo screen, AD. Give it a screen.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say, first of all, I feel a little set up because I'm not really invited to Brothers of Legacy. But then y'all have this hot button topic, and now y'all want me on here, the lone woman, one voice. And I feel like this is kind of a setup. I just want to say that ahead of time. But then I want Pastor to just kind of clarify his position before I say anything. So just elaborate on where you stand, Pastor. So because we have conversations, right. But I want everybody to be kind of on the same page before I say anything.
I love that. I appreciate that. And the fact that you said, I am the lone woman and I'm put on the spot, it's a validation that it's not as comfortable as you would like it to be. Oh. And I get that. Totally get that. Which validates my point. I don't want to put my woman in an uncomfortable position. I don't want her to ever feel like she's out there alone, surrounded by a bunch of guys, having to make decisions where she's going to be challenged on every level. I don't want her like that. I don't want to put her out there. As intelligent, as strong, as confident, as insightful as she is with my superhero wife, I don't want her feeling like that. I don't want her feeling like she has the weight of the world on her shoulder. I don't want her feeling like the next decision that she makes is going to impact lives of people that she'll never see. I don't want her to feel that, as qualified as she may be. I just don't want, and we can talk all day long about this, but my message was, Brian does not want to wake up to that, because it does not make Brian feel comfortable putting that much responsibility or accountability on any one of my women. That's what I'm talking about. See, most people some people may have heard what I said and counted it as a disqualifier for women. Right. I wasn't disqualifying anyone. I was merely saying that if I look at my Bible, if I look at my scripture, and I understand the purpose that woman was created, because the one thing we talked about after our call yesterday was the law of first mention. So if I want to talk about a woman's role, I want to go to the scripture, because if I'm a Bible believer, if I believe in the Lord and his divine nature and his divine process, his divine order, then I go to the law of first mention. And he said, it is not good for man to be alone. So I'm going to give him a helpmeet. I'm going to give him a paraclete. All right. That's what it is. And so I want her to take all of those gifts, all of those talents, all that power, all of that anointing, and help me. Okay. Help me. I don't want her to come and take charge because, as far as I'm concerned, that was not the original order. That was not the design. And because we've gotten so far away from that design, we can't even have a healthy conversation about it because people automatically think it's a disqualifier. That's how far away we are. Where is my cousin? My cousin.
I know. I was waiting for her to come in.
Should be on here.
I'm gonna
But what was interesting is after the conversation yesterday,
Right.
and one of the comments I made is I would never want my wife to have, I would never want a woman to have the power to push a nuclear button. Right. And my cousin basically took our post yesterday, put it on Facebook, and it was a nuclear blast because she didn't like what I said. She called us fools and put it on blast. Somebody come tell these fools that women can be president. And I'm like, that right there, that's why I don't want you in a leadership position. And it's a great example. It's not speaking to all women, but what I'm saying is I don't want that kind of pressure. I don't want you to have to be in that position. I just don't want to, because you were never designed. You were designed to be under the umbrella of man. My wife is a CEO. I said that yesterday.
Right.
She has the freedom to do. My wife has her undergrad. She has her MBA. She's in a doctoral program right now. She has her real estate license, working on a broker's license. She doing all kinds of stuff, right? And I call her my retirement plan. But everything she's doing under the umbrella that I hold. If she were holding that umbrella, everything would look different. Everything. So that's my feeling, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to that. I don't want a woman president.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Sam. I'm waiting for this one.
But no, I mean,
It's not Sam.
Yeah.
There's women on here.
Right. So Mike Elder McNair says, unfortunately, women were created to help. Willette said women weren't created just to help.
Can I speak to those two comments real quick?
Yes, he said, I love my position and role as a wife and a woman. That's Lady McCory.
Talk.
And no knocking anybody, but let me add some perspective, because Elder McNair used the term unfortunately before he made his statement. And then that created a response in Willette. So look, we have blurred so many things that we can't have conversations without thinking things are not the way they were supposed to be, or we look at it negatively. Like Elder McNair made the comment he made, but in making that comment, he felt the rub before he even made the comment. That's why he used the term unfortunately in front of it, right? But this is the deal. Without woman, man doesn't realize and accomplish the purpose anyway. There is no accomplishing of the mission or the goal without the woman, because you can be as strong and as great of a leader as you want to be, but without your helpmeet, see, we think of the help as the way we were looked at pre-1865. That's not what the help.
The help.
Yeah, that's not what the help looks like. That's not help. And Willette says women were created. Women weren't created just to help. Look, that just in there, just to help. That's the thing. You have a goal, and without both people playing their role, there is no goal. We have undervalued stuff, and we've added adjectives to undervalue stuff. Men, women, and society alike. We've all done it. Right. And we got to get back to the place where we speak the same language as God. And sometimes that comes with a lot of conversations. It comes with a lot of arguments, a lot of not understanding, a lot of discomfort. Not saying that anybody here is right and wrong. The Bible says what it says, and it's that on its own. Now, from there, whatever interpretation you get through your understanding, that's you. Some people may not understand the way passage. Some people may not interpret it the way. So I could say, well, I believe in certain avenues and certain venues. The way Pastor feels is just his opinion, and I'm okay with that. I believe this way in that vein. Like, for instance, I may say, I don't care if there's a woman president, because when it comes to the design, I think the design may be at home. I'm not saying that's what I believe, but that's a reality. And and the thing is, we have to stop subjecting other people's opinion.
Well, okay, so my question is, okay, so I hear what you're saying about women president. So you're saying, okay, so she said, so let's go back to this comment, Ms. Hart's comment again. Where's it at? Boom. Oh no, I passed it. So about the help, right? Unfortunately, no. She said women weren't created just to help, right? What about leadership positions, CEO positions? Aren't these kind of like the same things? If a woman has purpose, right? We agree with that. Women has a purpose just like a man has a purpose, right? We agree on that. Now, what about the things that God has placed in them to lead or to build or to grow or to develop? Can they not be a CEO? See, now,
I want to ask, and I appreciate that, AD, but yeah. I'd love to hear. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize for that. I really do. I don't want to get too far down this path, and we have not heard from Samantha.
Okay.
Right. After what you just heard, because you asked me to say something, what is your response to what I said?
So I feel, and this is my personal, conviction. Yes, in the home, the man is the head. The presidency is a job. It is an office. It is a position. I don't see how that correlates with a woman being disqualified from holding that particular job. I mean, even going to your explanation, how, you hold the umbrella under which your wife lives, which makes perfect sense in your home because you are the head of your household. But the presidency is a job. It is not the same as a home or a relationship. I think there is a profound difference. So when you look at it as a job, it changes the dynamic. Once a man leaves office, he's no longer president. Like, that's it. He doesn't have the same authority. He doesn't have the same power. None of that. It's different when you are the head of a household. You leave your house, you get divorced tomorrow, go into another house. You're the head of that household, no matter where you go. You're always, wherever house you decide to inhabit, you become the head of it automatically. Donald Trump today, he's just Donald Trump. He does not have the authority of the president. He cannot veto anything. He lost all that when he lost the job. So I don't see how a woman can't hold that position. It is a job. Now, if you're saying that's just your preference, everybody has their preferences. It might not be something you into, and that's fine. Putting it that way, that's just your preference, not something that you would like to see. But I think as a whole, it's a job, and I don't see how a woman couldn't hold a particular job.
Okay.
There's my mouth.
All right. Oh, there you go. All right. So, Coach Johnson, with this topic under yesterday's umbrella, there's a profound difference between a woman president and a single mother. The president has advisors all around him, her. The single mother has to seek out that help. Let's see.
Wait, pause.
I'm pausing. All right.
There's a profound difference between a woman president and a single mother.
Uh-huh.
The president has advisors all the way around him or her. The single mother has to seek out that help. The president has to seek out advisors.
Right.
Doesn't the president have to seek out the president has to find people and appoint them.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Right. In terms of a job, it's a post.
Right.
It's a calling. It is the throttle for the country, as proven by Donald Trump. Because you put the wrong person in there. Leave me alone, y'all.
They calling you.
You put the wrong person in there, and you have people storming the Capitol. Absolutely. That validates that seat is way more than a job. That's not something that you clock in and clock out of. That's why you have to move into the White House. If it was a job, you'd clock in, but that seat you move in. That's a life change. That means it's not a job, it's a life, because the White House becomes your home for as long as you're in there. You eat, sleep, and all those things happen inside that place. And what happens is your culture becomes America's culture. You make decisions that have an impact on people's dinner tables. That's not just a job. That's an adventure.
Listen, technically you do clock in and out. Yesterday, Joe Biden clocked in for his first day of work. In 2025, he possibly may clock out or renew his term.
He didn't clock in. He didn't clock in. He moved in. One of the most interesting narratives when Hillary Clinton was running for president was who's going to be there for the 3 a.m. call. Because you have to get up out of the bed and respond to something. Okay. Right. As president of the United States, you're always working. Okay. Always. It becomes your life. That position is your life.
And
I mean, would you
that's
say
not a job?
Would you say a CEO?
But entrepreneurs have that same.
I don't know if I go. I don't know if I go as far as to call it a calling.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. I don't know why not. Because you know what? As people grow up and they say, all my life I've wanted to work in ministry. I believe I've been called to do that. People say, all my life I wanted to be president. I believe I've been called to do that. I don't understand how you cannot make that a calling, because not everybody can do that.
Not everybody can do it, but you still got to be chosen. So that's the difference.
You have to be chosen. Yeah, in order to be chosen, somebody got to call your name.
Yeah, but this is a difference between America.
You have to be called.
But there's a difference between American citizens and God. So when I hear the term calling, that's something that's innate, put inside.
See, that's that's the challenge with the conversation, right? Because we limit calling to God.
Well, let's do this. While y'all doing that, I'm gonna look up the definition.
Okay, so let me. All right, so let me read some.
I can pick up this phone right now and I can call you.
Right. Okay.
That's me calling you. That ain't God calling you.
Okay.
It's me calling you.
So, but
I can call you and ask you to come over here and help me work on the motor in my car. That's me calling you. You've been called to come do a job.
But when most people hear call, they think of purpose. They don't think.
I didn't know. See, that's the problem.
So we got to get on. We got to get on the same page. I got you.
Yeah, because I'm not talking about what most people hear. I'm talking about the reality of the word. And you said I don't agree. You associated calling with God, and I associate calling with reaching out.
Well, I'm talking to pastor, so that's why I associated calling with God.
Right. But so if you with the calling argument, that kind of makes our argument. So you're saying if you're calling me, like to organize something, right? To put something together and make something happen, right? You would call me for like website media stuff. If you wanted to make an event happen, you would call Sam.
Whoever's qualified to do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so qualification has no gender.
Yeah.
Right?
No gender.
Qualification has no gender.
Yeah, I agree with you. Qualification has no gender. Absolutely. Anybody can do it because I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me.
Okay,
But
so
guess
then
what?
how
Guess
can a
what? The
woman
Bible
be
also
president?
says, all things are lawful, but not expedient. Just because you qualify doesn't mean you should. Listen, I love one of the greatest examples of that I can give you. You know, LeBron James has a laptop. He loves his laptop. He's great with his laptop. He loves working on his laptop. But guess what? When he goes on a basketball court, as much as he is authorized to work on his laptop, it's not expedient for him on the basketball court. You can be qualified to do something, but that doesn't mean you should be doing it.
Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me get some of these comments real quick.
Yeah,
Did you?
Okay, I was trying to put one up.
All right. There's a difference between a calling of God and a calling of man.
Absolutely.
All right, hold on. Let me get some of these. Cole said, Hold on. As a man, I will go back to what I say. I do not look to the President of the United States as a moral center, man or woman. The Lord is my compass. I want to say good morning. Coach Johnson, I feel this. I really don't like taking out the trash. So, I know Lady McCory says, we don't have to be unapologetic for God's design for women to be helped. Women, we are strong leaders. We have purpose and we have insight. The point is not that women are not qualified to lead because we are leaders. These are one's perspective. And it's, Is it okay with that? I think we keep things objectively. We should be able to have healthier conversation around this topic. No, the president has to hire advisors, Pastor, but there are roles put in place that be the ladies calling. So we're saying President Trump is a woman and how he ran the government.
That's the thing. See, that's disrespectful to women.
That absolutely is.
Right. Yes, indeed. The president of the United States is similar to a CEO. Trump did not have a calling to president. He wanted to manipulate the position to use it as a bully pulpit.
Right.
Aren't you all business owners?
Because President Trump is a validation that just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right, but how do women get singled out of that then? So how do you then turn that and single out women? That just applies to women.
Right.
Yeah, but I think you misunderstand my point. What I said is I don't want that level of weight on a woman. So I don't want that level of weight. I don't want a woman to have to make that type of decision.
So is it safe to say this? Let me ask this question. Is it safe to say this? Because we get in the weeds, but I think answers are out there, but I think they get washed over because we keep going back and forth. So is it safe to say you are not saying, Pastor McCrory, you're not saying that women aren't qualified or don't have the qualifications to be a president? You're saying that I, Brian McCrory, don't want that for a woman. Is that safe to say?
That's all I've said.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I heard you say that.
That's what I said yesterday, right? I said it yesterday, and it doesn't matter how many times I say it. The problem is when I say something like that, typically the response is going to be a defensive posture. And the reason the response is a defensive posture is because you take that statement on its surface and it sounds like I'm disqualifying women. And I am not disqualifying women. In fact, I'm covering them. I'm saying I don't want you out there like that any more than I want to see women on the front line in battle, because I don't want to have to scrape women's body parts off a battlefield. I don't want that type of weight on a woman. I don't want a woman to have to decide whether or not we go to war.
Because she's a woman?
Any more than I tell y'all all the time, if I have to go into a battle, the first person that's going to be by my side is my wife, because I know she's going to fight to the death with me. But what I will not do is send her to battle like Moses sent Joshua.
Well, allow me to say this, because Sam just said because she's a woman, though. I don't agree with his opinion. I got a different opinion when it comes to women presidents. However, in that environment, through experience, I absolutely agree with him 100%. I had a soldier that was a female that we had to literally pick her body parts up with black plastic bags. And psychologically, because she lived in the place that I lived for the last 6 months, there's absolutely every dude in the unit. It hit different. I'm not saying it's different. There's no different, but it hit different.
Listen, I'm not okay.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to discount your experience, but at the same time, that woman was free to make that choice for herself.
She was also in combat.
Right. She chose to enlist in the military. Unfortunately, those things happen. It was her choice, and she was given the freedom to make that choice. Just like
I'm not arguing. No, and I'm not arguing that.
Okay,
she was given the freedom to make the choice to be president as well. Pastor, I hear what you're saying. You're saying your person, you don't want to see that for a woman. I guess my thing is, why do you get to make that decision for a woman?
I don't get to make that decision for a woman.
Just his.
Right.
I said, that's how I feel. I didn't make a decision for any woman.
Okay.
See, that's the thing. See, what we get into this posture that I'm trying to tell women what they can and can't do. That I never said it. The reason that what I'm saying is everyone out here is what's happening is you're validating the very point that I'm making, right? If you don't agree with what I'm saying, we become enemies. You know, that's not you, Sam. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that the interpretation of my statement is I'm saying something negative about women.
I got you. I
right?
What you're saying.
And the problem that I have, the reason that what I'm saying is we have come so far from God's original plan. We've come so far from God's original plan that just making that statement makes it sound like I am disqualifying women or somehow I have an agenda against women. That's how far away we are, because the response is to be defensive. Well, you can't tell me what I can and can't. No, I never told you what you can and can't do. I never said women weren't qualified. I never said women couldn't do the job. I said I would not want that kind of pressure. I don't want to see that kind of pressure on a woman. Because I understand the law first mentioned. I understand what God's original plan was. So if I'm having this conversation, I'm saying that's not in my book. That's not the kind of weight that I would want to put on any woman. Any woman. And what's the problem is men have been out of balance, out of position. So women have had to step forward. But what we have come to realize is women have had to come forward so much that now there's more second guessing of men, and women have moved from I can do it to I can do it better. That's the reality. And if anyone has a conflict against that, then we're anti-women. And you totally lose the point. Right. And because you totally lose the point, this has to be an objective conversation. Right. And what concerns me is that the conversation loses its objectivity because people get in their feelings and they completely miss what I said. That's emotional. That's emotion. And that's the emotion that concerns me. I don't want that kind of pressure. I don't want that kind of pressure on a woman, because what happens when you disagree?
Okay.
The same thing that happens when you disagree with anybody.
Right.
Really? Really?
Why? Yeah.
Oh, so men and women think exactly the same.
No, I did not say that.
No, they don't. Men process things differently than women do.
I didn't say that they think the same. I said the same thing that happens when you disagree. The same thing that happens when you disagree with somebody on this panel, whether or not they verbally say it, does not change the thought process that's happening in their head.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
The difference is, women, fine, we may be more vocal about our emotions and what we're thinking, but a lot of those same thoughts go through men's head. They may just not say it, or they respond to it differently.
Absolutely. Right. But guess what? There's an accountability, but God put an accountability on man that he did not put on woman. Right. He put an accountability on woman that he did not put on man.
Absolutely.
right? So when we talk about the accountability factor, define the accountability factor that he put on man versus the accountability factor he put on woman.
So, I know silence, but so when
the crickets, I know what's going on.
No, go ahead. If you gonna answer, Sam, just jump out there.
Well, my problem with this whole argument, right, is we keep teetering. Half the argument is biblical, half the argument is opinion. Like, here's the thing: when it comes to the Bible, I cannot argue with how God designed wives to be a wife to be, because that's how it's designed, for a wife to be. And I'm not arguing that point. As a wife, my husband absolutely leads my household. Period. There's no question in that. But when we are going outside of a wife and a husband relationship, the dynamics change.
Right.
When we go into, the separation of church and state, there is a separation. Yes. But it's hard to effectively discuss this, because we kind of teetering back and forth, and you can't argue with the word of God, and I would never even try. And I agree with it wholeheartedly, and I agree with what you said too. Too many times women have been forced to be in that position, so some have determined that they belong there. And I agree with you. So you don't belong in the position of head of your household unless
you have
it's just you in the household.
Right.
Unless you have to.
All right, hold on. Let me read some of these comments. Give you a minute. He said, I get that there are roles. Example, I take out the trash in my house. I roam the house when things go bump in the night. I do my best to open doors for my wife when we go into establishments. Mom said, you said weren't designed to be the head. The kitchen and bedroom. Florida, the kitchen and bedroom. James Evans. She's quoting that. I just want to point out, Halcino is in the building. Halcino is in the covering them from what? They're female CEOs now. Not sure what that is. We must learn our history. Our first leader and teacher is a woman. And someone may need to break that one down. Even when I was young, I winced when I heard the line come out of his mouth. Women are soldiers all day. At least a woman wouldn't be thinking with a Johnson and start a war. So
Hey, that's a valid point. That's a valid point.
Valid point, though.
Why is that a valid point?
Why? I know dudes right now in prison over a woman
fighting in the field. That's an excuse.
That's a fact. Well, there's wars that started over women.
It's a general statement that assumes that that's how men think.
Right. Not all, but it doesn't.
Thank you. That's my own point.
But I'm going to say the same thing in defense of Sam's point. That 3 a.m. call when she on her cycle, that's the same point that she said. Well, that's not all of us. It's both of those the same point. Not all people are you can't put everybody in the same box. There's some men who are going to let that run their life, and there's some women who get emotional to the point where they're going to make irrash decisions during those times. But it's not all.
Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that I still would not want to see that. I still would not want that kind of pressure on a woman.
Right,
I think what everyone is missing is, instead of
AT&T
finding fault in my statement, well, men can be just humans are emotional,
right.
Instead of finding fault in my statement, why not hear the heart of the person making the statement? Right. See, if you can hear the heart of the person making the statement, there would be no argument here. There would be no debate. Right. It's how I feel. And I'm not less than or a fool or ignorant or against women or anything like that because I feel the way that I feel. Right. My conscience is my own. And there's nothing that can be said on this platform. You ought to be, more men should think like I'm thinking. If more men had this thought, we would not have this debate. The reason this debate is happening is because of the failure of man. That's what it is. Because we've been so improperly positioned, we've gotten to a place now we can't even have a healthy conversation about this because everybody's got an evaluation of the men that they have experienced in their lives.
Right.
And that does not bode very well.
I'm with you. 80% of everything you say. I agree with you on like 80%, but there's a part of me that maybe it comes with some experience, maybe it comes with understanding. Whatever it is that got you 100% there, I'm only like 80% there because like I've been to war with women and I've seen the difference between a woman dying on the battlefield and a man dying on the battlefield, and it affected me different. So I can understand that. I can understand that. Okay, the design of the house is this, but I can't correlate everything outside in nature to the way God designed the family. And I'm not knocking you for it. I look, it works for you. It's not wrong. It's your opinion and it works for you.
Right.
And on top of your opinion, it has some pretty good foundation. They got some of the best foundation work, but my whole the rub for me is there's a difference between my house and what goes on outside of my house. So if people qualify for something, I think if, for instance, I'll use me and my wife, and this is where it's beautiful because you've already said how you feel on the matter. So we understand that you and your wife have to be in agreement in order to be together. So y'all good. So with me, if my wife ever got to a place where she said, "Baby, I want to run for governor," and she meet all the qualifications, I'm all for it. I do understand that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change, and maybe I'm not ready for some of those changes, and maybe some of those changes punch me in the neck and be like, yeah, I saw that wrong. But the person that I am and my understanding and my experiences right now,
yes, I have with that. There's a reason why I'm quiet. This is what.
No, I was just gonna say, like, because when I did a little bit of studying on the root word for help me, and it's I don't know how to pronounce it. Ezer, Ezer, Kingdo, Kenegdo, and according to what I found, it was more like an ally than it was what people understand helper as. It literally meant in front of oneself, what is conspicuous, what is in front of. So with that, it's like, hold on, we've been seeing help me the wrong way all this time, possibly. So
what you said is right. That does not validate my interpretation. I mean, it doesn't invalidate my interpretation of a helpmeet because it is an ally.
Right.
Right.
And then when I looked up the words outside of when it was mentioned for Adam and Eve, it was always it was 16 times it was mentioned in a military manner, which means it was mentioned in the same lines of, okay, America, we going to war. Great Britain, where you at? It was that type of word. So it didn't mean you can't get dirty, you don't get down, and you're not involved in the same thing. It just means you're not the head of the coalition. So
you just made my point.
Right. So this is what I'm saying though. You're still fighting the same war. They're still involved in the exact same things we are. They're just not making a decision because it's not their call, because the ally don't make that call. An ally is not responsible for how we're going to run the campaign, but an ally is responsible for dropping just as many bombs and killing just as many people in that sense of the word. But I respect the fact that, and I want to make this point because you've said it many times and we keep arguing and we can't argue with your opinion. And that's one of the things that he has clearly said on multiple occasions. I feel like this. He didn't say that this is the only way. He said, I feel like this. I just want to keep bringing back.
Cole just said, I love everyone. I have to prepare for my meeting. Men are supposed to cover women. However, a woman can be a leader, and it has been proven in the Bible, Pastor. I may disagree with you here. Cole did not understand what I said. because I didn't say women can't be leaders.
Right.
I said I don't want to wake up to a female
president. Right.
So what I'm saying is we're so disconnected that I'm saying one thing and people are hearing something else.
I hear you. I mean, I dig what you're saying. Go ahead, Sam.
I think the disconnect again comes in because then you backed up what you said with the Bible and covering women.
The Bible is a reason why I feel the way I feel. I'm saying here's why, here's how I come to this. I come to this because when I read my Bible, I see men as cover. I see women as helpmeet. All right. All throughout the scripture. That's what I see. And then I go back to the law of first mention. What was the original design? To help. What I love about Barack Obama is, he didn't get to where he was or where he is without Michelle Obama. He didn't do it. It's not good for that man to be alone.
Right.
That's what I love about him. That's what the greatest part about Barack Obama's leadership is Michelle Obama. Because people see Michelle Obama as a person who could be president because of what she was while Barack Obama was president, but what she was throughout his entire career. Right? That's what I love about it. But guess what? The reason why Michelle Obama isn't running for president is because Barack Obama did. And if you take anything away from that experience, it is, I don't want to put that on my wife.
I got you. Okay. So before you go, Dwayne. All right. So I'm trying to get a clarification, and we started the conversation because he just dropped the bomb, and you just like, wait, we need some clarification to go down this route to have an understanding. You know what they say, like the word says, and all that get understanding. Because the one thing I didn't want to glaze over that we want to pass. Of course, everyone was like, what, wait, what? So I kind of wanted to dig into this conversation.
A lot of folks mad,
so we can get it understanding. I mean, I get what you're saying. But like we said, it seemed like I get the word, right? I get the word. We head of the household. We run our households. We cover our ladies, our wives, even our daughters until they are married to another man. We cover them. I'm with you on that. When it comes, but then we talk about and right, like you said, we got the clarity that you were not talking about leadership. We got that clarity because that was like, okay, you don't want any women leading. No, that's not it. You just don't want them to, and I hate to say them, the ladies to just run to run a country or even maybe govern. I don't know where you feel on that as well, but we just stick it to the country. I think it's a leadership position. It's not like a head of household position. You know what I'm saying? I was almost, and this is gonna sound, I'm gonna be kind of like both ways. I was almost rocking, like I think he's almost right when he said the White House. I was like, ooh, that's a point of contention right there. You're like, okay, it's a house, it's running, the man should be running it, but it's still a position, it's still a job.
Yeah, because that's not what I was saying.
I know. I know. I was just thinking it when you was describing it and running. When you was, I thought you was gonna go there. I was like, okay, maybe. So I was just putting all my thoughts out there. Yeah. But so it's go ahead.
People, and it's funny that we are quicker to disagree than we are to agree.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
I think sometimes we spend too much time trying to find fault in something that someone is saying. Right. Especially when there's someone in position like me. Everybody calls me, I'm pastor. This is Pastor McCrory. So
just say Brian.
Every time I open up my mouth, I'm supposed to be, this and thus and all of that. And the reality is, I'm a dude trying to get to heaven.
Right.
I'm a dude who thinks for himself. Right. And so for anybody who's saying, well, you this and you miss me with all of that, because I'm here and go back. I think my cousin Mimosa put it out there, and you basically just validated what I said. Michelle Obama didn't want to put her family through it. That's the point. I don't want to put them through this. I don't want this. I don't want this on my family. That's the point that I'm trying to make, right? And I wouldn't. I saw something when everybody was celebrating. I found a video yesterday of Kamala Harris, and she was on this talk show called Big Ideas. It was a platform. They were sitting up on stage. There were two women interviewing her when she was running for president. Okay. And out of nowhere, some dude ran up on the stage, straight up to Kamala Harris, and snatched the microphone from her and started talking about, oh, you got a big idea. Well, I got a bigger idea and all this. And then security came and rushed the stage and all of that. But what I saw was Kamala Harris uncovered. Her husband made it to the stage and was a part of the bum rush to get this guy off the stage. Her husband snatched the microphone back from this guy. He came to the defense of his wife, right? Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I'm saying that's why I wouldn't want my woman up there. That's why. You want to know why? Because I don't want to see my wife up on stage and being the target like that.
I get it.
That doesn't mean she's not qualified. That doesn't mean she hasn't earned it. That means I don't want that picture. All right? And I'm saying no one should want that picture. We should have enough leaders. I tell people all the time, the greatest part, my wife tries everything. She loves getting out there. She's a go-getter. She does all that. But you know what? If she came in here and said, honey, I don't want to do this anymore, I'd be like, well, sit down then. And the only impact would be to us in here.
Facts.
But if Kamala was president and she said, honey, I don't want to do this no more, the impact would be to the whole nation. That was a joke, yo.
And I just point out again. I just want to point out again. This is how he feels, and he's not saying that you have to feel like him. Yeah. He said he believes that it's right that you feel like him. This is not a heaven or hell thing to him.
Yeah, but the thing is, Here's the thing. I love you, brother, and I appreciate you. I don't need you to defend me.
Thank you.
I don't need it because I can stand completely on my own right here and take every part,
but that wasn't about you.
And be unshaken.
But it's not about you though. It's not about you. It's about human nature and communication. The reason why I keep saying that is because we've been talking about this now for going on 2 hours, including yesterday, and you something yesterday that people are still arguing with you about today, and that's the only. This is a communication thing, and
because after 2 hours they misunderstood what I said.
Not you, Sam, because we had a backstage and we were able to cut some things out. But you can't tell me that there are people right now that are watching that's like, oh, so this is what you're teaching people. He's not. This is his opinion, and he said that this is how I feel. That's the only.
Yeah,
the only thing I'm saying here is not to defend him. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm showing us, community, how easily we can be like, and forget the conversation at hand because all you see is this rattling. He said something that people still didn't hear because, I mean, we all do this all the time. As a man, sometimes I get into a conversation to prove myself right. Not necessarily to hear and to grow and to learn. Not saying anybody on the panel, anybody in there are doing this on purpose, but this is what we do. As a man, especially when I get in, me and my wife, we had a conversation and I had to call Pastor up. I was like, hey, Pastor, look, this was going on. This is what I said. What I said was right. You know what Pastor told me? You were absolutely right. What you said was right, but the timing was horrible. And you were insensitive. So what I said necessarily wasn't the problem. It's everything else that goes along with it. So all I'm trying to point out to all of us here is that in communicate, half of our issues come from communication. We don't hear people sometimes because we're waiting for them to finish so we can say what we got to say, or we hear something that don't rub us the right way. And when it doesn't rub us the right way, we automatically disqualify everything else that I've heard. I've had people on my Facebook page during the election process who didn't hear me because they saw Joe Biden. Or I come at both Biden and 45, and because I came person that they like, they didn't hear any of it, although I just read both of them. Oh, but you feel like, no, I don't feel like this. Did you just not hear me say that both of them are piss poor morally? That's why I started. So all I'm saying is we have to step back and leave our opinion back here, and then respond to what we hear, not to what we think we heard or what we are, our perspective is based on 2 or 3 words and not listening to it. That's all. 7, 8 times, this is how I feel.
I got you. All right. Go ahead, Sam. Jump in there.
So I'll say this. Part of why I came on here this morning, even though I didn't want to, was because a lot of times in conversation, you have to let people continuously get out what they're trying to say. And then if you get to the root, you'll get to the root of why they feel the way they feel. So I'm not bothered by the people in the comments or whatever, because if you read the comments, you'll figure out exactly where people are. So the same way you want them to listen to respond, we have to listen to respond to where they are, because the objective is to initiate conversation across the board, not just between the 5 of us, but in the comments, and let these people be able to click off of this and have conversation with other people. But it has to be more than one perspective. It has to be more than one idea. It's good to have a healthy debate. Like, people feel how they feel, and they have to be allowed to feel that way. And people want to be heard. I mean, I love Pastor, and listen, he already know if it's something, I got his back 100%. But I also thought it was important, that people also, hear what I have to say as a woman, and then hear his heart. I told him yesterday, I love how he's a protector. That's his nature. So when he says stuff, I know half of it is just about protection. Like he said, for him, he don't want to see that kind of weight. So I get it. I totally understand it. But again, healthy conversation. Everybody has to be free to talk. And then again, if you look in the comments and you just watch what people are saying, a lot of the issue is not particularly with what he said. It's with their position, where they are right now. And we have to be able to talk enough to help them out of that place.
Right. That's
right.
Man.
And on that note, I'm gone.
Wait. Hold on. Last thing.
No, you won't get to the ending, guy.
Make sure you watch Sisters of Legacy every week, every night. Not every night, every Tuesday at 8:30. Every Tuesday.
And it's real easy. It comes on right after Bible study.
Right.
Solomon right over.
Yes, indeed.
You hear that, sister, every week.
All right, Sam. Appreciate you.
Love you guys.
Love you.
See you later. And she and that's the thing, right? When she talks about the comments, the purpose of this conversation was to hear why I said what I said.
Yeah. Yes, that was the point. That's why we really,
it was all about me explaining myself. Right. And with all of that explanation, Sam, to have her share it,
right,
and explain where it's coming from is exactly the struggle that we have. It's like you have to hear it come from someone else, because I've been disqualified because I'm the one who said it.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So until somebody else comes out and says the same thing that I said, and be a woman saying it,
yes,
it doesn't make sense, because I got disqualified because I said it.
Yes. That's true.
You understand? That's what ended up happening for a couple of people.
Right.
because when I opened up my mouth, it sounded like I was disqualifying someone.
Right. Right.
And once you heard that, the show was over. It was done. There's nothing else I could say.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Like, so, listen, we appreciate you guys. And listen, this is what we're all about. And it took me a while to title it because I didn't want to title it some hot spot, something just to get views and people to jump on and get everybody all riled up. As my goal is for healthy conversation. This what changes our community. This what puts us back in alignment with what God has called us and intended for us, because like I said, sometimes we're a little out of whack and we need to have conversations to get us back in alignment with the same direction, the same goals, and have an understanding. And like Pastor said, sometimes trigger words, you get defensive, which is because when he said it, I was just like, okay, let's just go, that's just change the whole show. That was like, okay, well, let's just go down the road.
But you do realize, I prefaced it with, watch this.
Right. Yeah.
I told you what he said. He was like, he said, this is how if you didn't see it, Terry, it went like this.
Oh, I saw it.
They really about to get mad now.
Yeah, I saw it.
Watch this.
I was at work.
Because
I've been
on this planet long enough. Right. Right.
Oh,
but it was fun though, because I knew it was going to create some really, really dynamic and healthy, unhealthy, whatever, some banter.
It was good. Yeah, it's good because I like having these conversations. Then for Sam to come on and kind of to get an understanding, have a woman's perspective, because it's just us four men, so it's just like, oh yeah, I got the platform. You're gonna just start that, so at least gives an opportunity for a woman to kind of speak into it. So and she shared. Before we get out of here, two things, Terry. What you want to say, brother? Everyone was like, yo, Terry been quiet this whole broadcast.
Yeah.
Terry had the popcorn.
We at the end. Yeah, I was there for the comments.
Terry was sitting in the seat. Terry was like this.
But I saw it. I saw it yesterday, and I think, like Pastor said, a lot of things get lost in translation between what come out of your mouth and what hits people's ears. And so by the time it got to when I watched it, it was, what did you just say? That was my reaction. And so it came off, a lot of times, because I'm a firm believer in it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so when I watched it yesterday, I was like, no, he didn't. Maybe he meant like this. Maybe he meant like that. But if you listen to this morning when he was doing his explanation.
Do you remember what I said?
Huh?
Do you remember what I said?
I remember what you said. Yeah. I remember what you said. But it went by so quick. It was one of them, like you said, pulled the pin through the grenade and then walked away. That's what it was. That's how fast, the reaction was. And I was like, but if y'all listen to him this morning, and he's explaining, he said, I, my. If you listen to how he was explaining it, that's his opinion. I want to jump in and say that at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to, but, it was his opinion. Everybody has the right to have that opinion.
Right.
I disagree with the opinion, but that's just me. Just like he disagrees and agrees with whatever he wants to agree with. I think women are capable of doing whatever they want to do.
All right, Dwayne, you said you wanted to.
Yeah, I just want, since we were talking about communication, I just want to put out there in the air for anybody who likes to have conversations. There's 3 major parts to communication. Okay, I want you to hear this well. There's the message sent, the message that you send. Then the message that's received, and then feedback.
Right.
Without those 3 things, you can't have communication. So what this ensures, Pastor Brian yesterday sent a message.
Right.
Then there was a message that was received, which caused a whole lot of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And during that feedback, you get to go back and forth and send and receive, receiving feedback, until the message is clear.
Right.
So whenever we go into these moments, this is what it's supposed to be. This is how iron sharpens iron. Definitely. Look, iron sharpening iron is not this. Iron sharpening iron it's not easy, but it's communication. This is how we do it.
Yes, indeed. All right. So we appreciate you guys for coming out. We appreciate you guys watching. I have a Facebook crisis going on here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah. Oh,
you have
it went away.
666 followers.
I have 666 followers.
You need one more.
I need y'all to go in and invite your people so I can get out of 666. Please.
I saw that. I was going to inbox.
Especially on this conversation, we don't need.
We got, please. So get your peoples, invite your friends. All right. Pastor, did you want to share something real quick? Because everyone else
lady said everyone has their own opinion. Yeah. It's okay to have a difference of opinion on this subject matter. Healthy conversation is important for one to express how they feel. Yeah. And from time to time, I feel I deem it necessary to have something happen that forces people to really, really put their big boy or big girl pants on, or whatever that statement is, your grown up stuff, and have a real conversation. You can tell a lot about a person's disposition when you give them something that they don't agree with.
Wow.
Right. It speaks volumes when you can put a comment out there, and how you respond speaks volumes about actually where you are. And some of that is some of this is checking the temperature so that you know who you're dealing with, who you're interacting with. When I deliver a message, sometimes I say, this is from the book of Brian. Right. And I say that because for far too many occasions, leaders will use their words and present it as God's word. And that's why we get so disrupted. And that happens so many times that even when you say, these are my words, people hear God's words. And then they want to make you wrong. You understand what I'm saying? And it makes it so ugly. And for me, I sit back and it's comical sometimes because based on your response, I know exactly where you are. And now I know how to interact with you. Right. So that's why I love being slow to speak and swift to hear. Mm-hmm. Right. We got to hear faster than we speak. And a lot of people are just reacting instead of taking time to effectively respond. There's a difference between a reaction and a response. That's what I've learned. Right. Amen. Details matter. So I thank God. You know what, lady? Thank you, lady. I appreciate you, lovely. That's my wife, y'all. but here's the thing. What people don't understand is, when I met her, she was running for president. You understand? The mentality that she had, this single sister working in a male-dominated environment, making her own money, didn't want to hear nothing from anybody. She had it. I got this. It's on me. I'm doing it. Right. And here we are over 20 years later, and she's saying what my husband said. Right. But when she's not with me, she says, I got this. I'm doing it. She's still running for president. The only difference is she's running undercover. Mic drop.
Real quick, if I can, AD. Real quick, if I can. You said something and I laughed because I thought about what happened to me yesterday. My little one, Ariella, I gave her a taco, and she bit it, and she said, "Don't like it." Kids have no filter when it comes to them. If I give AD some food that he just ain't eating, he might find a polite way of doing it. Long story short, it's maturity. Maturity plays a part in how you have conversations, and you can tell a maturity level based on responses sometimes.
Yes, indeed. All right. So we appreciate you guys. Thanks for rocking with us. We'll see you guys in the AM. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another episode. Good morning. Everybody.